Mukha Padma Bringha, Sri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha Dev, Praladesha Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringha, Namaste Nrsimhaya, Praladadayani, Hiranyakasipur Bhakshaha, Shilatankanakalaye, Ito Nisingha, Bharato Nisingho, Jato Yato Yamitato Nisingha, Bahir Nisingha, Hridaye Nisingho, Nisingamadim, Sharanam Prapadye, Tabakora Komala Vare Nakam, Adabhuta Singham, Dalitarирanyakashipu Tanu Bringham, Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Shri Nishinga Bhagavan Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitai Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. I just left the Alachua temple where they were doing the bathing ceremony of Nrsimhadeva, and I was praying that Nrsimhadeva remove whatever there is to remove, what is ever left, clean it out, clean out the basement, is there anything left in your basement? Clean it all out. So today's the day to pray for Lord Nrsimhadeva to clean out your basement. And maybe even clean out the main part of the house also, if there's anything left. I don't know if you know this, but in the Nectar Devotion, it says that we should worship Lord Ganesh to remove obstacles. Have you ever wondered about that? Well, what's that all about? Supposed to worship Lord Ganesh to remove obstacles. So, Lord Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. However, Prabhupada did not recommend worshiping Lord Ganesh to remove obstacles. And we know we worship Lord Nrsimhadev. He's, for us, he's the one we pray to remove obstacles. How is it that Lord Ganesh can remove obstacles? Well, here's a little secret you may not know. Lord Ganesh meditates on Lord Nrsimhadev. And by meditating on Lord Nrsimhadev, he has the power to remove obstacles. But if you can go right to Lord Nrsimhadev, then you don't need to go through Ganesh. So that's where Ganesh is getting his power. He's getting it from Lord Nrsimhadev. Now, in the Hare Krishna movement, our goal is Vrindavan. And therefore we worship Radha and Krishna, and we worship Lord Chaitanya. We don't worship Vishnu Tattva deities. However, Nrsimhadev is Vishnu Tattva. So that poses a problem. Now, we have to resolve that problem. And the problem is not difficult to resolve because Lord Nrsimhadev is being worshipped to remove the obstacles that would impede our worship of Radha and Krishna. So that way he fits into that. And for a Vaishnava, whoever and whatever we would worship, it would only be to enhance our worship of Radha and Krishna, not that we are worshiping Vishnu Tattva and then going to Vaikuntha. That's not our goal. Although occasionally there are devotees that have that inclination, but that's not what Mahaprabhu came to give us. He came to give us Radha and Krishna, Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. And so that's how Lord Nrsimhadev helps us, by removing the obstacles. So today, I would suggest that we all pray to Lord Nrsimhadev to remove those obstacles that we have tried to remove on our own, and we're seemingly not doing a good enough job. Well, with our own power, let today be the day when he just pulls out the root of all those anarthas that are disturbing us. I wanted to read a verse by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's very interesting. It's about Lord Nrsimhadev. This is from a book called Sri Navadvip Bhava Taranga, the blissful emotional waves of Navadvip. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, weeping, I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev for the benediction of worshipping Radha and Krishna in Navadvip, perfectly safe and free from all difficulties. When will this Lord Hari, whose terrible form strikes fear into fear itself, ever become pleased and show me his mercy? So there you go. So that's straight from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yes. So now, he says something else in another verse from this song that I found interesting. We're talking about just a few things. I'll read them. Within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies headed by lust perpetually reside, as well as duplicity, the desire for fame, plus sheer cunning. At the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krishna. So this is the theme. Even though Lord Nrsimhadev is terrifying towards the sinful souls, he offers great auspiciousness unto the devotees of Lord Krishna, headed by Prahlad Maharaj. When will he be pleased to speak words of compassion unto me, a worthless fool, and thereby make me fearless? So although Lord Nrsimhadev has this fearful, fearsome form, the devotees love that fearsome form because they know that fearsome form is the form that protects them. Now, an interesting point is made by our acharyas that we often pray to Lord Nrsimhadev to protect us from danger, because that is what he did with Prahlad Maharaj. But Bahir Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha, we say, Lord Nrsimhadev, Bahir Nrsimha Hridaye, you're Bahir, you're within. So you're within and you're outside, and you're also, that means you're also within me. So for the devotee, the real prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev is not to protect them from the outside materially. The real prayer is, Bahir, protect my inside, because my inside is the problem. The outside's not the problem, the inside's the problem. So if you can protect the inside, which means, again, protect the anarthas, well, just don't protect me from the influence of the anarthas, or just destroy them. Bahir. So when now ever again you chant Namaste Nrsimhaya Prahlada Lada Dayani Hiranyakashipu Bhakshaha Shilata Kana, that one. Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha Jato Yato Yami Tato Nrsimha. Bahir Nrsimha. You'll think, oh yes, I'm praying Lord Nrsimhadev, please destroy everything inauspicious within me. We're also praying to Lord Nrsimhadev to protect our spiritual master, to protect our movement. We can pray for the protection of other devotees. But the real protection we need is protection from the anarthas. These anarthas have found their way in our heart, and we know that it is very inauspicious to carry them. and we don't want to carry them. Sometimes we're weak, and so we ask Lord Nrsimhadev to do a heart operation, not on the physical heart, but not an intestinal operation or a heart transplant. Well, but figuratively a heart transplant, or transplant a new pure heart, or remove the contamination from my heart. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. He will say, "Dear child, sit down freely and live happily here in Sri Gauranga Dham. May you nicely worship the divine couple, and may you develop loving attachment for their holy names. By the mercy of my devotees, all obstacles are cast far away. With a purified heart, just perform the worship of Radha and Krishna, for worship overflows with sweet nectar." So he's kind of telling us what Lord Nrsimha will say to us if we pray to him, or perhaps we can say this is what he wants to hear from Lord Nrsimha. And we could also say that Lord Nrsimha will bless us that you can nicely worship the divine couple. That's the idea. And the last verse he wrote about Lord Nrsimhadev saying this, will that Lord delightedly place his own divine lotus feet upon my head? Suddenly, I will experience sublime love for the divine couple Radha Krishna and undergo the ecstatic transformations called sattvika. Falling on the ground, I will roll about by the door of Nrsimhadev's temple. So we have spoken before about the hold on a second. There's one other verse that I was looking for. I didn't find it. Maybe it's a different translation. Anyway, so we have spoken about hankering, how we should be hankering for mercy. We should be hankering for everything Krishna conscious. We should be hankering, looking forward to more advanced stages of Krishna consciousness. And part of the hankering, when we say, please remove this or that from my heart, it's not a negative, because it's something in the way of getting to somewhere. So when we're asking Krishna to remove something, we're really focusing on what that thing is blocking me from getting to. Because, okay, Krishna removes your lust, anger, greed. Then what do? Oh, now I can be peaceful. Now I can enjoy a movie without a disturbed mind. No, that's not. Hopefully that's not your meditation. But these are, the hankering is based on not a negative, but a positive, but the negative is just getting in the way of the positive. So our goal is bhava, our goal is prema, well, at least bhava in this life. Our goal is emotion for Krishna's love, attachment, taste, these things. And anarthas are those things that block that. So we're praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, please remove them, and because I want to love you, I want pure bhakti. So that should really be the focus, and that's where the desire should come. And then the dissipation or neutralization of these anarthas is really in that context as a byproduct of my desire. And so I was saying in class on Sunday, you weren't there. I don't know if maybe one or two of you were there. I don't think it was televised broadcast. I was saying how hankering is very important, and hankering in bhakti is very important, and that's actually what purifies us, because hankering is going to be there, and we all know if we don't hanker for Krishna, we'll hanker for something, isn't it? That you can't stop. Hankering, lamentation, it's part of the program of being a jiva. My dear devotees, we're all jiva tattva, and that jiva tattva is not dead. And anything which is not dead has desire, and anything which has desire hankers for what? For something we don't have. That's what hankering is. I'm not satisfied. I need something more. And so devotees say, but shouldn't a devotee be satisfied and we shouldn't be hankering? Yeah, we should be satisfied and not hankering materially. But part of us being satisfied materially is so we can hanker spiritually, because that's the real thing. So we should be hankering spiritually. That's proper, isn't it? Don't you think? Yeah. And so please remember this, because if we're not hankering spiritually, if we're not looking forward to more advanced states of Krishna consciousness, maybe next year this will happen, maybe tomorrow. I look forward to studying this book. I look forward to going to the Dham. I look forward to this service. I look forward to purifying myself. I look forward to becoming a Brahman, worshiping the deity. I look forward to deeper realizations. I look forward to detachment. Wow. Not everybody looks forward to detachment, do they? I look forward to the day when I'm completely detached from everything. Oh, don't take it away, Krishna. No, we want to look forward to that day in confidence that that will be the best day of my whole existence in the material world, when I have no more material hankering and only spiritual hankering. And to be afraid of that is not good, because that's a trap. That's a trap. We should be, you know, when will that day come when I have no material hankering? A lot of people, especially when they're new to Krishna consciousness, that's their big fear. Well, if I advance, it looks like I'll lose interest in everything. I wanted to be, you know, the biggest this or that. Now I'm chanting Hare Krishna. I'm losing the desire. I think I'm going to stop chanting because this is making me uneasy. I'm unsettled. I don't like the things I used to like. I don't want the things I used to want. That's good, because that leaves space for you to want and hanker for Krishna conscious things. So anyway, in this song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he was talking about these 6 enemies, in another translation, he said, these 6 enemies within me, they give pain to my heart. And I saw that, we read it yesterday in the temple, I believe yesterday or the day before. After Mangalarti, they were doing some Nishinga remembrance, Nishinga Smaranam. And so they read these 6 enemies. I believe it was this verse with the 6 enemies, and says, it gives pain to my heart. And I was thinking immediately, what a, you know, you could think of a analogy here. Like you're taking a knife and you're putting that knife into you're stabbing your own heart like that. Of course, nobody would do that unless they're deranged. But having said that, that's kind of what we're doing to ourselves. It's like we're stabbing with these desires we have, these desires which are painful, which they're causing us pain. My envy causes me pain. My jealousy causes me pain. My lust causes me pain. My greed causes me pain. I can't be satisfied because I always want something. So it's like I'm tormenting myself. And so that's what's going on. It's like we're stabbing ourselves in the heart, and only we can stop stabbing ourselves. So when we're praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, in a sense, we're praying, my dear Lord Nrsimhadev, please help me stop stabbing myself in my heart, because that's what I'm doing. Give me the strength to destroy that desire that's causing me to stab myself inadvertently. I don't think I'm stabbing myself. I think I'm gaining something, but it ends up that I'm in reality harming myself. So that's a nice image to have. It's another image we can have when we're chanting these prayers to Nrsimhadev, because we chant them every day. Protect me, my dear Lord. Come inside, as we said before, Bahir, Nrsimha, purify me, and help stop me from stabbing myself. which is another way basically of saying, Lord Nrsimhadev, protect me from myself. I am my worst enemy. You are the destroyer of enemies. And so, and the real enemy is me. Can you destroy that enemy within me? And so, especially today, I think we should pray very deeply to Lord Nrsimhadev, like very sincerely, and just tell him, Lord Nrsimhadev, my heart is yours. You know, give me some anesthesia, put me to sleep, and go in and do surgery and take it all out. And when I wake up, I'll feel lighter and better, and I can better serve you. I don't just want you to do this because it pains me. I know it pains you that I have desires which are independent of yours. So if you could do this operation for me, I don't know how to do it myself. I try, but I need your help if you would do that. And don't be afraid to pray for that, because that's, it's like to be afraid to pray for that is paradoxical, because that's what we're here for. We're here for that goal. And so if we're here for the goal and we're afraid to pray for the goal, that's a paradox. Okay, so I have some other things I wanted to discuss about Lord Nrsimhadev's appearance day. But before we do that, I think it's nice to meditate on the prayers that we say every day. And I always had a habit from an early time in my devotional service that whatever prayers we sang every day as standard prayers, I tried to understand them, at least understand what the words mean, so that when I'm singing it, I know what I'm saying, and I'm not just saying it robotically or parroting it, and understand the context of the prayer, the meaning of the prayer. Now, I don't know if you know this, although I've said this, but some of you may have not heard this, that when I was first part of ISKCON in 1969, we did not chant these prayers, but around that time, or 1970, there was an attempt on the Los Angeles temple. Someone had tried to bomb the temple, and a small bomb went off. And a few devotees were slightly hurt. And so Prabhupada said, it's inevitable that as this movement expands, there will be those who don't like it. They don't like us. And so these things are going to happen. That was the first thing he said. And he said, then we need to give you the prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev. That's what we need to do. And so he taught the devotees this prayer, and he went word by word. Namaste Nrsimhaya Pralada Lada Dadayani Hiranya Kashipur Bhakshaha Shilatanka Nakalai. Went through each word and had them repeat like 5 times or something. He was teaching them this prayer. And at that time, we were told, the Prabhupada said, this prayer is for the protection of ISKCON and the protection of the spiritual master. To my knowledge, that temple has never been attacked since. And we know that Mayapur temple was long ago attacked. And that was the impetus, the motive behind establishing the deity of Lord Nrsimhadev, and since then it's never been attacked. So, namaste, my namas, my obeisances, aste unto you. Namaste, that's what it means. My aste to you, namaha, my obeisances, my respects, like that, namaha, namo, namaha, my respect. Nrsimhaya, there are prayers, 100 names of Nrsimha, 1,000 names in Nrsimha, and you'll find the word aya. Aya means unto, Nrsimhaya. Namaste Nrsimha. So wherever you see a Sanskrit word with the suffix aya, it means unto, Krishnaya, Vasudevaya. Unto Krishna, unto Vasudeva. So Nrsimhaya, unto Lord. Namaste Nrsimhaya. I offer my obeisances unto Lord Nrsimha. Namaste Nrsimhaya Praladala Pralad Alada, pleasure, one who gives pleasure. Well, pleasure, Pralad Dayane, one who gives pleasure to Pralad. I offer my obeisances to Lord Nrsimhadev, the one who gives pleasure to Pralad. Hiranya Kasipur Baksha. Baksha means chest. I'm going from memory. I hope I'm not misleading anyone. Baksha, as I remember, means Hiranya Kasipur Baksha, the chest of Hiranyakashipu. Shila Tanka Nakalai, he chiseled the chest. Shila, Shila means stone. So Shila Tanka Nakalai, um, he chiseled the stone-like chest. Shila Hiranyakashipu Bakshaha Shila. This his Baksha, his chest is like Shila. With what? His nails. Nakalai. Did a chiseling. He carved out his chest and did an operation with his fingernails and ripped out his intestines, and the rest is history, as they say. Ito Nishinga Parato Nishingo. This is you, Lord Nrsimhadev. You are here. Ito Nishinga Parato. You are there. Yato Yami. Everywhere I look, I see you. Oh, this is beautiful. Ito Nrsimha Parato Nishingo Yato Yami Tato Nishinga. Bahir, you're inside. Bahir Nrsimha Hridaye. You're, excuse me. I messed this up. Bahir means external. I was saying it means internal before. Hridaye, you're in my heart. I'm sorry. You're outside, but you're inside. So that was a rewind the tape and erase that, or correct it. Bahir means outside. Hridaye, you're in my heart. Bahir Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha Nrsimham Adim Sharanam. Papade, the original Nrsimha Adi. Adi means original, right? Govindam Adipur. Nrsimham Adim. Sharanam means shelter. Papade means surrender. I take shelter, I surrender to you. You're in my heart, and that's what we're talking about. Because he's in the heart, then the real prayer is to purify that part. But the beauty of this prayer is that it's saying, Lord Nrsimhadev, wherever I look, I see you. Wow. Which means that I feel protection everywhere. From all directions, I see you, and therefore I feel protected, which is why Prahlad Maharaj was not afraid. You could imagine how fearful that situation was. But in all the pictures, Prahlad looks very peaceful, doesn't he? And kind of, yeah, he just looks peaceful. As if he's just sitting by a river somewhere in a forest, isn't it? Is that what it looks like? If you took away all the snakes and put in a forest, it would fit right. Yeah, he's meditating in the forest. Because he's seeing Krishna everywhere. And because he's seeing Krishna everywhere, therefore he has no fear. How do we know he was seeing Krishna everywhere? Well, this prayer indicates that, but specifically he saw Krishna in the pillar, which means he saw him everywhere. Is your God in the pillar? Yeah, and he saw him. It wasn't like, yeah, well, according to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's energy is everywhere. Everything is Brahman. He's inside and outside. No, it wasn't a philosophy class when Hiranyakashipu said, where's your God? He said, he's everywhere. It wasn't a Bhagavad Gita energy everywhere. The Prahlad was actually seeing Krishna. So then Hiranyakashipu says, is he here on the floor? Yeah. Is he here? Yeah. Is he in the pillar? He was ready to smash the pillar. He was so angry, and so Prahlad saw Nrsimhadev in the pillar, or Vishnu, depending on the story or the painting you see. But we understand he saw Nrsimhadev. So, my dear devotees, we're all overwhelmed by fear, isn't it? That's one of the 4 conditions of material life, You ever, drive on an icy road and lose control of the car? That's a fearful situation, isn't it? You don't know where it's going to go and what it's going to bash into and what bones you're going to break, or even if you're going to live. It's a very fearful situation. But if you're like Prahlad, seeing Krishna, you just be Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, this is fun. Krishna, Krishna. You see Krishna everywhere. You're not, you see his control, you see his protection. So we can say, therefore, the definition of fear is not seeing Krishna. Krishna is absent. And the definition of being fearless is seeing Krishna. So if we see Krishna in everything and everywhere, we will be fearless. And that's something we want to learn. We want to cultivate. We want to practice seeing Krishna everywhere. And that was the example Prahlad Maharaj set. He saw Krishna everywhere. Therefore, he was fearless. Mm. Yeah. There's so much to fear in this world. And a devotee is meant to feel, one of the symptoms of surrender, a devotee is meant to feel that Krishna is his protector. Like Krishna is always protecting me. So if I think Krishna is always protecting me, if I try to see that, then I am actually trying to see Krishna all around me in every situation. And sometimes when we're in fear, we pray to Nrsimhadeva, please help us, because we know he's our protector. In a sense, we don't have to pray for him because we know he's our protector. Anyway, whether we pray or not, I mean, we should pray to purify ourselves. But materially speaking, yes, we do pray to Lord Nrsimhadeva, but it's more of a meditation that he already is our protector, not like, please come and protect me. I'm just like acknowledging, I'm acknowledging you. Lord Nrsimhadeva, I'm in a fearful situation. I'm acknowledging that you're my protector. So that's the stage we want to come to, this confidence that if we jump off the mountain, Krishna, Lord Nrsimhadeva is there to catch us. Now, Prabhupada said something interesting, and this is quite humorous also. He said, you cannot imitate Prahlad Maharaj. So he said, don't go jump in a hot batch of boiling oil to test your Krishna consciousness. And so if you don't burn, that means, well, I guess my chanted some good rounds today. And if I do burn up, I guess that means I chanted some bad rounds. Like, yeah. You could also try that with poison. It doesn't burn as much. You can try it with snakes if you like. You can go to a snake farm and hang out with this poisonous snakes. You could try it with putting poison in your prasadam and see if that affects you. So this reminds me of a question that Prabhupada was asked. How is it that, devotees are eating prasadam, and seems that in the early days of ISKCON, the prasadam, the oil they used and the quality of the grains and the degree of chili was, and the water as well, was causing the devotees to become sick. So the devotees were very concerned about, well, what kind of rice is this? What kind of oil is this? That we were all sick. Like if you weren't sick, it was like, Prabhu, what is wrong with you? Why aren't you sick? Devotees from Mexico, somehow or other, I guess the water in Mexico is different than America. Similar to India, they weren't getting sick. Then the oil we were using, yeah. So Brahmatirtha asked Prabhupada, well, Prahlad Maharaj, he ate poison, and it was not a problem for him. So if Prahlad Maharaj could eat poison, then why are we getting sick just with chilies and some weird oil we're not used to, and water that's different than our water, Shouldn't we, just be like Prahlad and just be able to eat it and not have to have a special diet? And I think this is a really important question. I've talked about it before, but it's coming up in this context because Prabhupada, as I said, mentioned that this would be imitation. If you think, well, it's time to test my faith. So I'm going down to the store and getting some cyanide. And in each preparation, instead of Tulsi, we're going to drop cyanide. And if I don't die, that means I'm a real bhakta and I'm following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. And if I do die, it means I'm a nonsense and I deserve to die. Now, what do you think, Ishan? It's a good idea. Should we try it? Yeah, well, Prabhupada was, as you could see from Brahmatirtha's question, he was not yet fully a devotee, and he's asking this question, which I think we can understand. Probably many devotees in those early days were thinking like that, like, why are we, if Krishna is protecting us, why do we need to adhere to chemistry? According to chemistry, this is poison, but if Krishna is protecting us, for us, it's not poison. And that's demonstrated by Prahlad Maharaj. And Prabhupada patiently and practically answered, well, it's not going to work if you're not Prahlad Maharaj. And so don't try to imitate, because that would be dangerous. In this case, physically dangerous, right? So Prabhupada made that joke, it's time to test you. Every month, the Bhakti program, we're going to test your level of Bhakti. We've got a big swimming pool of boiling oil. Everyone's going to jump in. And if you don't get burnt, you're doing good. And if you get burnt, we know you're bogus. It's not like that. We understand we would get burnt. So anyway, I think it's a good point to remember, because we already know this, but it's just that Prabhupada's giving us an example we can think of. As we know from the self-care course, we've discussed this, that we get inspiration in a way that we can follow. We don't get inspiration in a way that we can't follow, because that just causes anxiety and guilt and shame. Oh, I can't bathe in boiling oil, I'll get burnt. What's wrong? Must be something wrong with me. I'm not a real devotee. Might as well just give up or go home and cry. Yeah. So that's a very unfortunate state to be in, because it's not the state we should be in. So I thought that was interesting. So then Prabhupada explained in this connection that, when you study Leela, you will see that there's Leela in relation to Krishna, in which devotees are acting in ways which we are not meant to imitate. And then there's Leelas in which devotees are playing the parts of sadhakas and sages kind of on our level. So then their example is for us to follow. So you just have to distinguish whose example to follow. So it doesn't mean, because we don't follow Prahlad Maharaj's example to eat poison, we don't follow the examples of great sadhakas in their practice of bhakti. Well, I don't have to chant because Rupa Goswami Thakkaradas was chanting 192 rounds, and who can do that? So I won't chant at all. It's not like that. Like, don't eat poison, so don't chant. No, that would be foolish. But when these eternally liberated souls come and take the part of sages and sadhakas, then we adjust what they're doing, the numbers of rounds they're chanting, all this is all detail, but we adjust the detail, but the principle. But in Leela, like drinking poison, there's not really an adjustment that you make there. Did you go from 192 rounds to 16? That's the detail. The principle is to chant, and the detail is given by your guru. So you just have to make those distinctions when you're trying to follow the example. Who are you trying to follow? Is this person personifying practices that are recommended for us? Or is he exhibiting his, transcendental nature, or is it part of Leela that's not meant to be followed? So that's important. Yeah. So So here's the example of Prahlad Maharaj as the sadhu. What was his example that Prabhupada wanted us to follow? It wasn't to eat poison or bathe in boiling oil. It was to tolerate. So that is what you have to see. So that's important, right? Prahlad Maharaj tolerated it. He wasn't complaining. As I said, he was sitting peacefully. So instead of scratching your head and saying, well, I could never do this, we look at it and say, well, what here is he teaching that I can do? What is he showing me? In this case, Prabhupada said, he's showing you how to be tolerant. So that's beautiful, isn't it? Mm, yeah. And of course, he's setting the example of surrender. He's just like Krishna, protect me. I'm at your mercy. So that example he's showing, both those examples we follow, tolerance and surrender. In the eating of poison, we leave that up to more advanced devotees. Hare Krishna. I think you understand that, right? But just to make sure, in case you had any doubts about that. Hopefully you wouldn't have doubts, but just in case. Hare Krishna. Um, mm, huh, mm. So we had mentioned that Lord Nrsimhadeva is worshipped. Lord Nrsimhadeva is Vishnu Tattva. So generally, when you worship Vishnu Tattva, your goal is not Vrindavan, but you're worshiping in opulence. And you could even desire opulence because there are various forms of liberation. And one form of liberation is have the same opulence as Vishnu. And so one could worship Vishnu with that motive. And here's something for you to consider. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we should not desire that kind of opulence. And it's not why we chant Hare Krishna to have material opulence. But in the Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakarasad Mansu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshabhiteshu, in Goloka, there are Kalpa Vriksha trees. Whatever you want, they give you, and there are hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis. So, when you only aspire for Madhurya, you will get all opulence. Thousands of Lakshmis will be there, will come to serve you. You don't even want Lakshmis. You don't want wealth. You want Madhurya, you want sweetness, but they'll all come. And so if you just worship Krishna in simplicity, you'll have more opulence. They say, right, there's more wealth at the foot of a Kalpa Vriksha tree than in all of Vaikuntha. And so here's an example. This is a really nice example. Would you like to hear it? An example of this? Yeah, it's quite nice. You'll like it. So let's say I plant a mango tree. Why do I plant a mango tree? I plant a mango tree to grow mangoes because I want mangoes. But when I plant a mango tree, what else do I get? I get shade. That's a byproduct. But the purpose was I wanted mangoes. So in the same way, the mangoes are like the Madhurya, and the shade and the benefit, all the other benefits you get from the tree are like the opulence that comes, even though that's not why you planted the tree, but you'll get cooling shade. I don't know if you know this. The Goswamis lived under trees. You know that. Different, they stayed under different trees so they wouldn't get attached to one tree. Prabhu, how come you're moving? I'm getting attached to my tree. I've been here 3 days. I'm starting to get attached to it. I know all the grooves in it. And I know all the good spots at the different times of day. I have to move on. So, you would think if you lived under a tree, you're already detached. But that's another point. So, if you know, if you go under a tree, it's cool because of the shade, right? I mean, that's obvious, but trees are actually cooler. Did you know that? Like if you go, not only is it cooler in the shade, but as you go to the tree's cooler. And in the winter, if you go by a tree, it's warmer. Did you know that? You can experiment. I definitely experimented that in the winter. And I've heard, I guess it's harder to tell if a tree is actually cooler, like when you get near the trunk, it's a few degrees cooler. Something you can experiment with, but that's one of the reasons they live by trees. It's warmer, even though it's open, but the tree, like bodies exhibit heat, there's some heat coming out. I guess maybe from the sunshine, it takes that energy. So, I read some stories which are they're different stories about the killing of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in different Puranas, which is interesting. And in one Purana, Lord Nrsimhadeva appeared and Hiranyakashipu asked all his sons, he had 4 sons, he asked all his sons to fight with this. And so Prahlad was fighting Lord Nrsimhadeva. Can you imagine? This is, I'm not sure, maybe Garuda Purana. And they couldn't kill him. They all had these divine weapons, but they couldn't kill him. So then Hiranyakashipu came, because like my sons can't do it. And he kicked the chest of Lord Nrsimhadeva. Oh, actually, no. This was, hold on. I gotta, um, um, Lord Vishnu sent, sent, sent a being, to kill Hiranyakashipu, but they couldn't kill him. And then he hit Vishnu and no, this being, like, no, this is what happened. All right, I'm sorry. Hiranyakashipu hit him in the chest, and this being who Vishnu created to kill Hiranyakashipu flew all the way back, and so he realized, oh, I'm going to have to do it. And then he came as a Narahari. Interesting story, right? I never heard this before this morning. And then, so the 4 brothers tried to kill this being. They couldn't. Hiranyakashipu comes, kicks him, goes all the way back to Vishnu. Vishnu says, all right, I got to do this myself. And then he comes as Nrsimhadeva, and then Hiranyakashipu says, okay, Prahlad, you fight with him. Go kill him. And they're all defeated. And then in this story, Hiranyaksha is alive, and he sends, after the sons can't kill him, he sends Hiranyaksha. And doesn't work. And so when nobody could kill him, then Prahlad realized, oh, this is my worshipable Lord Vishnu. Then he started to pray, and he told his brothers, don't, and Hiranyakashipu, don't fight him. And then at that time, Lord Nrsimhadeva pierced Hiranyakashipu's chest with his claws. And it's from the Kurma Purana. And so, how is this? Like, you're all sitting there scratching your head saying, I never heard this. How is this possible? This is so different. And the answer is always given that, sometimes it's boring to come every age and just do the same Leela exactly the way you did it last time, isn't it? It's kind of like working on a conveyor belt or something. So sometimes Nrsimha comes and he's like, well, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's kind of do it backwards, you know? We'll kill Hiranyakashipu first. And when we'll hit Hiranyaksha, hang out. He had to kill Hiranyaksha because that's part of the plan. But how he did it's not described here. And there's this understanding in Leela that you've heard this word, sweet will. Have you heard this word? Sweet, by his sweet will, by his own will. And so the definition of Krishna is he acts by his own sweet will. That means like whatever he wants to do. So if you say, how come he did it differently? The only answer is because he wants to, because he wants to enjoy it differently. And we as devotees, we are here to facilitate his enjoyment. That's our purpose. And the purpose of creation is to facilitate Krishna's enjoyment. So he wanted to like change it up. Let's do it differently this time. And so sometimes you'll read in various shastras descriptions of what seems to be the same pastime, but it's done differently in a different kalpa. So is that okay? Can you let Krishna do it differently? Is that all right with you? You're not mad at him, are you? He doesn't do it exactly the same. I wish you did exactly the same. It's so confusing. You hear different people giving the story. What story's right? And when right. So you're getting your story from Bhagavatam. And occasionally even in Bhagavatam, there may be something that doesn't fit right because they're describing an incarnation that appeared in a different kalpa. Same name, but a different person, that happens. Or, just that they changed it up a little differently for entertainment value, for excitement value. I know I give the same workshops over and over again, but sometimes I do them a little differently just to entertain myself. Some people are okay. They like the regulation, just keep it exactly the same, makes it easy for them. But my nature is like, I like to change it up a little bit. Churn the ocean, variety is the spice of life, like that. So that's what Krishna's doing. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Okay, here's another one. This is from the Brihad Bhagavatam Rita. And Narada Muni said to Prahlad, you once went to Naimisharanya to have darshan of Narayan, who is known as the Lord in yellow dress. While on the road, you satisfied the Lord in combat, and he told you, yes, I am always conquered by you. So here's the commentary. This incident is recounted in a number of scriptures, including the Vamana Purana. Once Prahlad took a trip to Naimisharanya to see Lord Pitavas, the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord. While traveling on the road, he met a strange person who was dressed like an austere renunciate, but was carrying a warrior's bow and arrows. Prahlad assumed from this person's contradictory attire that he must be some hypocrite abusing the principles of religion. Therefore, Prahlad started a fight with the sannyasi, vowing, I swear I shall defeat you. But even after several days of dueling, Prahlad could not subdue this adversary. Early one morning, before resuming the battle, Prahlad worshipped his deity. He then saw his opponent standing nearby, wearing the same garland he just offered the deity. You can all say, wow. For those of you who are sleeping, I'll explain what happened. There's this person who was actually Vishnu incarnate in this weird form. And Prahlad was fighting him. And when he worshipped his deity, he put his garland on his deity, and that person showed up the next day wearing the garland. Okay, all right, I think I get it. So Prahlad recognized that the stranger was Lord Pitavas, Narayan himself. Thereupon, offering prayers to that opponent, with all the competence at his command, Prahlad tried to satisfy him. In response, the Lord touched him with his lotus hand, which relieved Prahlad from the fatigue of fighting and from all anxiety. Prahlad asked Lord Pitavas, what to do about having transgressed the duty of a Kshatriya by having made a promise, namely to defeat his opponent, and not having fulfilled it. The Lord, fully satisfied by the sport of fighting with Prahlad, told him, but I'm always defeated by you. That was a joke Lord Vishnu made. But you did defeat me. How did you defeat me? You defeated me by your love. So Krishna is always defeated by the love of devotee. Krishna is always defeated by the love of Prahlad. Um, um, yes. Mm, yeah. Mm, mm, yes. Um, it's one other thing. I'm just looking through my notes. Mm. Here's an interesting point. Because Prahlad is young, and young children are pure and innocent, so Prahlad represents pure and innocent bhakti. Um, in other words, his bhakti, kids don't have bad habits. Kids are pure, so his bhakti is devotion with that which is not contaminated by any impurity. Um, and, and then it's said that this is why Lord Nrsimhadeva, when he sees Prahlad, he's very happy. He puts him on his lap, smells his head. And it's also said, um, yeah, hold on. So there's an interesting point about Krishna's anger. End with this. Krishna gets angry, like when he was Varahadev fighting with Hiranyaksha. He was angry, with what Hiranyaksha was doing, and he was insulting him and stealing the earth. But it's said Nrsimhadev's anger is different. This is an interesting point. Hiranyaksha is calling Krishna names. You this, you that, you this, you that. I will destroy you, you scum of the universe, like that. So he's offending him directly. But Lord Nrsimhadev was not angry with Hiranyakashipu directly for the same reason. Why was he angry? Who can guess? Who can guess why he was angry? Because he was angry because Hiranyakashipu offended Prahlad. Yes, that's why he was angry. Not that he was offended, but that Prahlad was offended. Isn't that interesting? Um, um, so after Nrsimhadev killed Hiranyakashipu, he was still angry because his devotee had been offended. So even though Hiranyakashipu was dead, he was still angry. Uh, and so everyone tried to pacify Lord Nrsimhadev, and they couldn't, and only Prahlad could, because now that he saw Prahlad, and Prahlad was well and happy, and he was happy to see Prahlad, like we said. Prahlad's always peaceful. So his anger subsided when he saw Prahlad. It was like, you were offended, but now you're happy, and then I'm happy. And so this is a really good story because it shows how much Krishna dislikes aparad. He got so angry that Prahlad was offended. He killed Hiranyakashipu, and he was still angry until Prahlad pacified. It's okay. when you pacify the offended, then everything's good, right? So it's said that Nrsimhadeva's anger was the anger against Vaishnava Aparad. Wow. And then you can think, well, Nrsimhadeva is angry with Hiranyakashipu because of Vaishnava Aparad. So if you make Vaishnava Aparad, you'll get Nrsimhadeva that angry with you. Well, you're a devotee, so you got some protection. But you can think of Lord Nrsimhadeva in his anger and say, I don't want to make him angry. And that's how I make him angry. And then it said, therefore, we worship Lord Nrsimhadeva to protect ourselves from making Vaishnava Aparad, or protect ourselves from the effects of Vaishnava Aparad. And we always have to ask forgiveness if we make offense. Okay, so that's a little bit about Lord Nrsimhadeva. We started late and we're going to end here. Last story is in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Okay, 1-4-11. Get out your Brihad Bhagavatamritas, everyone. Sri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Have a great day or morning or evening under the shelter of Lord Nrsimhadev. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanandi. And if you can fast, if you can stay up all night and not drink water or eat anything, then more power to you. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Hare Krishna. You're chanting Hare Krishna, you're a devotee. That's the best thing. But austerity is nice. Lord Nrsimhadev appreciates it. Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho.